I'm Tumuhimbise Don Bosco. I'm a pastor and I'm heading a ministry called Word of Life Ministries International. By the grace of God, I'm the founder of that ministry.
Okay.
And that ministry was launched in 2013 in March. We are making 4 years almost. I think we are in 4 years and something. Yeah.
You gave me a CD. What's about the CD? Maybe you can tell me something.
The
about
CD is a music. I happened to receive a prophecy when I was still a new believer in the Lord that I have a gift of singing. And my early years in Christianity, I was involved in the worship team and in the youth choirs in the church. And later on, when I became an evangelist and a pastor, then I began to see the gift developing. As I would be playing the guitar or playing the keyboard, then God would bring some revelations, some inspirations of words, and I would come up with a song. Then I would write it down and then sing it in the church, and thereafter record it. Yeah.
So it just came to you that you just discovered that you could play an instrument, or how it worked?
Even the instruments, it was also a prophecy. Man of God, it was my pastor. He told me that I can see you have a gift of playing instruments. But by that time, I had not yet even known how to play any instrument. But it became a desire inside of my heart. Whenever I would see somebody playing an instrument, I would get so interested to learn, but I would not get an opportunity. But one time somebody just gave me a hint on how to touch some keyboard notes, and from there I began to develop the gift by myself. So now I can play the keyboard and the guitar.
You just somebody showed you one time?
Gave me one key, that is C, how to touch it and how to play it. Then from there I got a book which teaches the keys of the keyboard. I kept on following by practice, and now I can play.
Wow.
Yeah.
And how long did it take that you could play?
It took me, I've done it from 2007 up to now.
Up to now?
Yes.
Oh, it's now 10 years?
Yeah, almost 10 years.
How long did it take that you could play the instrument then?
It took me months, a matter of months.
Really, in only months?
Yeah, in only months. That's when I entered into the pastoral ministry. God had given that church machines, that is the keyboard and some guitars. So I got a chance of getting involved in doing much practice, because before then it was difficult. Whenever I would want to touch an instrument, they would prohibit me from touching.
Okay.
So when I got a chance of being a pastor in the church, I had time to have the machines, to be in charge of the machines. So I took time to learn. Yeah.
Do you see a difference between between the connection to an instrument and music before you have been a Christian and afterwards? That you say that was when you came to Christ.
Yes.
It was really like an impartation, or how did it work? What was the difference before?
Before I came to Christ, I loved music, but I didn't know that I had a gift in me. But when I accepted Christ, then the desire continued to be stronger. But before I became a Christian, I used to love that secular music of people who are not born again. But when I got saved, I abandoned the other side of music and I stuck to the Christian music. And then the gift continued to develop. And then I began to realize that I can do it now. Yeah.
How do you record now the things? Are you arranging also songs, and you learn arrangement also from God?
Yeah. At the moment I get the song, I just get a pen and a piece of paper. I write it down. Then the arrangement, still the Spirit of God enables me to arrange the song how it is going to flow.
So with different instruments also?
Then yes, and then I happen to play it on the keyboard. Then after that, I look for money to go to the studio. In the studio, when I get money, I go to the studio. Then they record it. Yeah, they record the beat, the rhythm, and everything, and then the voicing. and it comes out.
So how did you learn to write that down? The note? Do you write the notes or
I don't write the notes. I write words.
You write words.
I write words of the song as it flows.
Okay.
And because I do practice on the keyboard, I still remember how it flows in the rhythm and the keys and how it flows. So when I go there in the studio, I just sing, and they record the voice.
Okay. So then you compose the song, and then teamwork starts. That's awesome. Would you allow me when I would publish it on my website to also publish one song?
I really want it so much, because for me to have my music, to have this ministry grow, I need to be published.
Is there something what you want to talk about? A witness how you came to faith? Did you go to some process of deliverances also? Because this is about the supernatural.
I can talk about it. On my side, I accepted Christ in 1994. That was Feb. And formerly, I was a Catholic. And but before that, there was a revival which took place in our country, in the western part of our country, and that revival brought about the change in the way the parents name their children. The names of children, they name them according to the revival that took place. So you find that our names have a meaning. Like for my case, the name Tumuhimbise means let us praise him. So I was named after that even before I knew the Lord, because of the effect of the revival in our area.
Well, that's
so
a good name.
it happened that in our clan, I didn't know about witchcraft. So when I came to know the Lord, it was so easier for me to get more deeper in the Lord. I didn't have to undergo much deliverance like someone who has demons in him, like things like that. But there are some clans in our country where you find that when people come to know the Lord, they have to undergo a deliverance. It's a process. Yeah, it's a process. Some people have demonic forces according to the practices they were doing in their clans, like witchcraft, stuff like that. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for the interview.
You're welcome.